Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our host, Mark McEwen.
Well, hello and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the American Heart Association's second One Heartbeat National live stream event. I am Mark McEwen. I'm very excited to be here with the American Heart Association and also to serve as your host for the next half hour. So many of you are volunteers for the AHA. Many are survivors and supporters. I want to say first, thank you. I am a stroke survivor, and it's people like you who help people like me. That thank you comes from my heart. I want to share, before I had a stroke, I knew nothing about strokes. Now I know enough that could fill a room. Hope is very strong, a very powerful emotion. You give people like me hope. When you have hope, the air smells sweeter, the sun shines brighter, the sky is bluer. When you don't have hope, it can be a great day and you just don't see it. And I thank you for that. When life knocks you down, I've learned you don't have to get up and immediately jump back into the fight. All you have to do is get up. And I mentioned that I'm a firm believer in that. For most stroke survivors, there's a time before the stroke and time after the stroke. Before the stroke, I was on CBS. I used to be a rock and roll DJ. I was a stand-up comic. I always say I was so funny doing comedy, I ended up in news. That's how funny I was. And after the stroke, I had to learn to do things that you didn't have to think about. My stroke affected my dominant side. I'm right-handed. This right hand doesn't work like it used to. So as I was trying to learn how to write over and over, my writing was squiggly. I thought I'll do everything left-handed. So I write left-handed, I drink left-handed, I eat left-handed, I shave left-handed, I brush my teeth left-handed. As the saying goes, it's a brand new world. And this year has been a brand new world. These are unprecedented times, but today we come together as one community. Today we come together with one heartbeat for you. Here's my ask for you. Let our time together today be a reset and look for those takeaways that are meaningful for you to stay healthy and to stay resilient during these times. Before we get to our special guests today, excuse me, some of our volunteers like you from around the nation sent in a video to share how they are staying healthy, active, and connected during this time. First up, our friends from Cincinnati and Raleigh. When we're back, our first guest will join us to share his own thoughts on ways to be well. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Yost, a nurse at St. Elizabeth Healthcare in Northern Kentucky, and also a walker in the Greater Cincinnati Heart Mini. My family and I are trying to find ways to stay active during this time and stay connected. We go for walks with our dogs, try to do some Pilates or yoga at home, and as far as staying connected, we use Zoom, FaceTime, whatever we can to just connect with people that we can't go and see.
I'm Dr. Saktivel Sadayappan, an AHA funder researcher at University of Cincinnati Health and a walker in the Greater Cincinnati Heart Mini. During this pandemic crisis, my family and I find time to do yoga, walk on the treadmill, cook healthy meals, and play games like chess. And I strongly encourage you to try some of these too. And I'm very positive that we can get through this crisis very soon.
Okay, so here we are out here, great day on the Duke Trail for a good run, working the heart muscle, although I think my leg muscles are about ready to fall off.
Doesn't matter what you do, everybody, let's get moving and take care of ourselves so we can take care of our patients and their loved ones. Whether it's walking, running, cycling, working on the elliptical, do whatever you can to get moving and take care of yourselves.
rode my bike. Just 20 minutes. It's usually the first thing to go. Exercise when I get busy at work and at home. But I can't let perfect be the enemy of good. And a good, intense 20-minute workout was just what I needed today.
That there was great. And I loved how the executives at Duke Health were showing us how they do it. Before we go further, I have twins. They are boys, they are 17. And when this first happened, he called it, what about the pandemic? I said, what? He'd only seen it written. He never had heard it said. I said, pandemic. So now he says pandemic. For those of you on Facebook or YouTube, please share in the comments how you are staying healthy, active, and connected during the pandemic. Joining us today is Dr. Glenn Levine. The good doctor is a master clinician and professor of medicine at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. I was born in San Antonio, Texas. He's also the chief cardiology section, Michael E. DeBakey, VA Medical Center, and author of Take Back Control of Your Mind, his, count them, 14th book. We asked Dr. Levine to join us today to share with us his thoughts on some actionable ways to deal with the stresses of today. Welcome, Dr. Levine. Before we begin, let me ask, 14 books. That's a lot of books. Are you writing all the time?
Well, amazingly, I do the books in my off hours. So a lot of nights and weekends.
Nice. Very nice. Dr. Levine, people are dealing, I know I am, dealing with a lot of stress today. What is your advice to them on how to respond?
So that's a great question, Mark. And again, thanks to you and AHA for having me, and welcome to everyone viewing the program. I think the first and most important thing for all of us to recognize is that we are not alone having stress. We are not the only ones having stress. All of us are feeling what's going on right now. So you don't have to sit there and think you are the only one. We're all feeling it. But when we think about stress, there's one thing that's very, very helpful that I would suggest to those watching. People traditionally think, oh, that person stressed me out. This event stressed me out. Something happening stressed me out. But it actually is not so like that. Really, what leads to stress are not the events themselves, but it is our reaction to it. And importantly, we actually have a choice of how we react to things. We can certainly let an event or a person or a situation cause us stress and stress us out, but we also have the choice to recognize the situation, recognize that it has the potential to lead to stress, but consciously decide that we are not going to think about it and let it cause us stress. Now, this is a lot easier said than done,
Right.
but over time, if you understand this, you can actually learn to recognize when something is happening that has the potential to lead to stress, to pause, to think to yourself, to look at your mind, recognize what is going on, and consciously decide, I get this is what's going on, but I'm not going to let it lead to stress. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to laugh it off. I'm going to roll with the punches, and I'm going to move on to what's going on right now and tomorrow.
I like that. Dr. Levine, in addition to being stressed about what is happening, people are worrying about what might happen. How can we better cope with the unknown?
Yep, so another great question. And when we talk about worry, again, there's a couple easy tricks. So the first thing to recognize is that the vast majority of things that we worry about don't actually ever happen. And even when they happen, the results are rarely as dire as the worst case scenarios that we envision things. The second thing that is helpful is to recognize that all the worry in the world is not in the slightest going to influence whatever outcome or whatever events are going to occur. So for example, I travel a lot, so I may be in some airport waiting for my plane to take off so I can land in time to catch my connecting flight to the event I'm speaking at or to get home. And there's a delay. The initial reaction that I would have is to worry, I'm going to miss my connecting flight. But I remind myself that all the worrying in the world that I do is not going to make the skies clear quicker if there's a storm, or is not going to make the mechanics repair that engine any quicker. And so this worrying is really serving no purpose. Now, I'd make the distinction. Sure, there are certain things we need to be appropriately concerned about. Certainly, if a hurricane is heading our way, we need to make appropriate preparation for it. But that's different about worrying about things that may or may not happen in the future, and of which our worry really has no bearing on things. So it's better to try to drop the worry and spend the time doing something either useful, constructive, or enjoyable.
Doctor, you're a big fan of dogs. I know you have like 3 of them.
Yeah, we have 3 rescue dogs.
I have a golden doodle named Lola who has my heart. I take her for walks. When I take her out, she goes for a walk, and I think she's helping me save my life. You're a big fan of something as simple as a 10-minute walk and staying active and taking breaks. Talk about that.
Yeah, so first I'll segue into that by saying we wrote an AHA scientific statement that actually one of the benefits of owning dogs is it leads to more exercise, which we know is good for the heart.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of doing things like taking breaks, including going for walks. The key, though, is that when we go for a walk, we need to actually be in the present moment and enjoy it, rather than let our minds wander and again, think about the future, worry about things, or replay events from the past again and again and again. So what I would encourage listeners to do is when you do go for your walk, to really pause and try to focus on being in the moment. Feel what the temperature is like. Is it humid? Is it dry? Is there a wind? Actually look around. Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? What do you see? And as you're walking, even think about walking step after step. Feel your feet moving. If you're going with a dog, then actually watch the dog. Think about the dog. As long as you can keep yourself in the present moment and not let your mind wander, then you're not only getting physical exercise, but you're essentially giving your mind a break and letting your brain reboot for the rest of the day.
Dr. Levine, before we go, what are the names of your dogs?
So we have 3 dogs. We have Sadie, we have Gabby, and we have a tiny dog that was 2.5 pounds and worm infected when we rescued her, and she's called Coco. Coco is the princess of the house. She's living here, and we're just guests.
Right. Dr. Levine, you're doing a great thing, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Great. It's my pleasure, Mark.
So let me recap what he just said. When you go for a walk or be active, keep your mind on what you're doing right now, as opposed to going back and forth with things that have a way to drive us crazy. He says also to keep, stay in the present, stay in the moment. That's good advice. When you, I've been thinking about things I did back in high school. I can't do anything to change that. And that's what Dr. Levine was talking about. Dr. Levine, thank you again. Next, we have more volunteers sharing how they are staying healthy. And after this video, we will be right back with the legendary Bill Snyder, who led one of the greatest, if not the greatest, turnarounds in college football history while coaching at Kansas State.
My name is Steven. I support Utah American Heart Association Cycle Nation. As a family, during the holidays, we have some traditions that help us stay heart healthy.
How's that heart feeling right now?
We got it pumping.
I'm Deborah Grandison, a Go Red advocate in St. Louis. To stay healthy, I go on daily walks and I stay connected with family and friends via FaceTime and Zoom.
My name is Michael Kaywood. I'm the board chair of the American Heart Association in Tarrant County, Texas. It is important to me to be intentional about my health and well-being, physically, mentally, and socially. Here are a few things that I'm doing to stay healthy, active, and connected. I get at least 30 minutes of exercise in some way every day. During some online meetings, I turn off the video and run in place. I'm able to get a 10K completed during a 60-minute meeting. My wife and I walk around our neighborhood. Better yet, we sometimes find a local or state park and take a hike.
My name is Anthony Mulholland. I'm the Senior Director for the Heart and Vascular Service Line at OHSU Health in Portland, Oregon. I'm also an avid supporter and volunteer for the American Heart Association. With the holidays coming and with all of us living in the virtual space for COVID, showing up for our workout is more important than ever. And I've been doing that by showing up in the virtual space with a trainer sometimes. I've also been looking at a lot of online exercise videos, then taking lessons learned from those two things and creating my own fun workouts. Also, long walks in the afternoon with my dogs help me to stay centered after a long, busy, stressful day.
Thank you for that slide reaction. I want to say something that Dr. Levine mentioned earlier. When you're exercising, you don't have to join a gym if you can't. Last time I checked, walking was free. And you can you don't have to run a marathon, you don't have to join a gym, just walk and start walking to the end of your driveway, then down the street, and before you know it, you're out walking in the neighborhood, hearing birds chirp and smelling fresh air and seeing great things. So there you go. And we're back with Coach Bill Snyder from Kansas State. Have to say, go Wildcats. This is not the first time the AHA has looked to Coach Snyder for this leadership. Last year, Coach Snyder was recognized as the Bear Bryant Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who is Bear Bryant, and what does that have to do with the American Heart Association? Well, the Paul Bear Bryant Awards recognize college football coaches for the contribution on and off of the field. The award is also an opportunity to shine a spotlight on heart disease and stroke while raising valuable funds to support research of the American Heart Association. Now, for you college football fans, we have a fun opportunity for you through their first ever fan vote. You can see on the screen, you simply go to Bryant Awards/fan vote, and you get to weigh in on your choice for Coach of the Year. Now I'm excited to ask Bill to join us. Coach Snyder, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much, Mark. I enjoy having the opportunity to visit with everyone. You know, I appreciate everybody that's invested in the American Heart Association, and so many people have done so many wonderful things, I think, to enhance, you know, what the association is all about. I appreciate it a great deal.
Well, Coach Snyder, when you were coaching, if I were a freshman that was brand new to you and your organization, how would you get me to believe I can slay the dragon?
Well, I think we would go back to what we have as a set of values, which is called the 16 Wildcat Goals for Success. And they're based on a value system that's certainly not unlike what you teach your children and what your parents have taught you. And a part of that is understanding, that sometimes we place limitations on what our capabilities are to achieve success in a variety of different areas. And the important thing is not to place expectations on ourselves. We've grown up all of our lives with people placing expectations on us. Our parents had expectations about behavior, etc. Our teachers in schools had expectations of us. It's the self-expectations that become so important. What do we expect of ourselves? And then not placing limitations on what our abilities are to achieve the successes that we desire.
Bill, Coach Snyder, we all need a comeback right now. You are known for an incredible turnaround at Kansas State. How did you accomplish that, and what was your plan when you became head coach?
Well, I think first and foremost, it was understanding that we had to do it step by step, which is the same as would be the case for anyone attempting to do anything in their lives. One of the most important things first was to be able to surround ourselves and surround the program with great people. People who genuinely cared, people who wanted to make the program better, people who could help make the program better. So, the people that you have around you, and depending on what venture you're targeting, really becomes significant in your way of doing things. I think, secondly, it was to be able to establish what it is that was significant for us to achieve, goals, if you will, define, what your priorities are, and then based on those priorities, what were our goals? We established goals based on the most important things for us, for our program. And once that had been done, it was defining meaningful ways in which we could achieve those. In other words, the process. I mean, we all have things that we desire to achieve, but sometimes we overlook the process. We think sometimes that hard work will get us anywhere we want to go. Hard work is a part of it, but you need to work in the right direction, and we need to have a process laid out so that we can take it step by step by step by step in order to achieve the things that we want to do. And then thirdly, it was just a matter of kind of the Nike slogan, is just do it. And, stepping up and doing it. It's kind of like, we're all hibernating right now because of the pandemic. First and foremost thing we have to do every day in order to meet the challenges in life and to make life better for ourselves is get out of bed. So it's, you've got to get started. I think that's significant.
Did you always know you wanted to be a coach? And if not, what changed your mind?
Well, really I did. I grew up with being involved in athletics. It was interesting. The most prominent person ever in my life was my mother. Was a hardworking single. Was married and divorced from my father. I was the only child. My mother worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, just to provide for me and put away money so I could go to college. She had an amazing influence on my life. So I think she was, first and foremost, the person that, guided anything and everything that I could do. So, as far as becoming a coach, she made certain that I was invested. I was in the YMCA. She because she was not home when I was out of school, she made sure I went to the YMCA. She took me down there, got me enrolled, and she told the fellow, now you have to realize my mother was 4'9" tall, never weighed 100 pounds in her life, toughest individual I've ever known in my life, including football players. And she went to the YMCA with me, took me down there and said to the gentleman, said, my son will be here at such and such a time every day, and he will leave at such and such a time. And if any of those times are off, you make sure you call me and I will get it corrected. And so I went to the YMCA every day and got invested in athletics. I loved all sports. Was a competitive swimmer, played football, basketball, baseball. I was terrible at all of them, but participated in all of them. So I always thought, that was something I wanted to do. I coached the city. I was from St. Joseph, Missouri, and I coached a city swim team, when I was still in high school. So it was just kind of part of my growing up. When I went away to college, I knew that's what I was going to do, and I have never thought of anything else.
Moms are special. Moms
Really?
are special. Coach, thank you so much for being with us, and I wish you all the best. And hey, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Well, same to you and same to all those that are listening. Appreciate it a great deal.
Thank you, sir. This half hour was so helpful and left me with lots to put into action starting today. I want to thank Dr. Levine and Coach Snyder for their insightful conversations. And thank you to all of the local AHA volunteers who sent in videos to inspire each of us. Thank you very much. I hope everyone who joined us today can take something from our conversation and apply it in your life this season. If you want more information, please visit the websites you see on your screen now. Thank you for being with us today and for your support of the American Heart Association. Have a wonderful, and I do mean wonderful, and healthy holiday season. And 2020 is coming to a close. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.